Welcome back to Living Local. If you're selling your home, the option of a FSBO for sale by owner may have crossed your mind. Avoiding the cost of a real estate agent is an obvious perk, but according to the National Association of Realtors, the number of for sale by owner transactions fell to a record low of 7% of all home sales in 2018. If less sellers are going this route, there must be a reason why. Joining me in studio to talk more about this is Kyle Robinson, team lead with Robinson Real Estate Group, brokered by eXp Realty LLC. Kyle, thanks for being here.
Brittany, thanks for having me again.
Always a pleasure to have you here. So Kyle, why do you think we're seeing less FSBO transactions?
Well, so the highest trend of FSBOs was in 1981, and that was roughly 15%. In 2017, we had roughly 8% of the transactions for sale by owner. Last year, 7%. And the reason why we see that, I think, is the merge of the marketing and technology, right? I don't think it's as simple as just putting a sign in the yard anymore. As cities grow, there's less people driving in these neighborhoods because they're sprawling. So I think that getting on any type of internet advertising, technology, is part of the reason that's putting these people at a negative advantage, and I think that's why they're seeking out realtors.
And as I prefaced in the intro, Kyle, I mean, obviously a lot of people are going to be attracted to FSBOs because you don't have to deal with paying a real estate agent.
Absolutely.
But what is the purpose of having a realtor when you can have that option?
Well, in an everyday challenge with attorneys and moving laws and stuff that just comes out of thin air, I think it's more or less the protection portion of it. I think there's a lot of people concerned about doing deals with another owner without having somebody intermediary or in the middle of it.
Right.
You know, I truly think that people really want somebody who's professional, that's going to give them guidance and make sure they're making a decision that's good for long term and today. And I think that people are generally concerned. It's just like when you go to buy a new car. Do you buy it off Craigslist or do you buy it from a new car dealership?
Yeah, that's a great analogy. And I mean, when you're moving that or selling or whatnot, it's stressful. It's a stressful time. And to work with someone who has the training and the skills and the experience, there are so, like you just mentioned, the legal aspects of it. I would have no idea where to even start if I was trying to sell a home. So in your personal opinion, what do you think some perks are of having a realtor through that process?
Well, certainly the first thing is, if you're a seller, is by getting advice from the realtor. So I think there's a lot of times where sellers will do repairs or renovations that aren't necessarily a benefit to selling their house. You know, so the first step, even if you're contemplating selling for sale by owners, certainly get in touch with the realtor. They'll be able to come by, give you an idea of what you should be spending your money on. And certainly the best information is what you should not be spending your money on. We catch a lot of people right before they're going to do things that won't be creating value and definitely will be lost money. So those are one things. The convenience factor, I know a lot of for sale by owners think that they're going to be available to show houses, take the phone calls. I can tell you that's a tough challenge, and we have multiple realtors that are going to be showing your house, not just you. That's another challenge that you're going to have. The legal thing is definitely something to keep in mind. Don't get me wrong, attorneys can certainly help for sale by owners through the process, but the realtors definitely know how to navigate the channels. Inspections are another issue. Typically we see that when for sale by owners deal with for sale by owners, that the inspections certainly can be a lot more troublesome than if there's an intermediary party like a realtor. So those are some of the perks that certainly we see, you know, for sale by owners not receiving.
Wow, those are some great points. Now, Kyle, let's talk about the bottom line, because I think, as I said before, a lot of the reason that people go FSBO is to save money. But actually, in the long run, it might not always be that way. Can you tell us more?
So the National Association of Realtors actually states that people who list with realtors on average net 23% higher or gross 23% higher than they would selling for sale by owner. So I guess if you're looking at the stats, there's obviously a clear reason that maybe using a realtor is probably a better option. Don't get me wrong, there's plenty of people that I know that have successfully sold for sale by owner at a realistic price. I think the biggest issue with a lot of for sale by owners is that they put houses out either too low or too high. Rarely do we ever see it put out to what the actual market will pay. So those are some of the concerns that we see. So.
Right, and it's great to work with an expert who knows the market, and I think that's just another added value that a realtor brings to the situation, because it just, as a general homeowner, I mean, what kind of education do you have about what the market is and what would be a good selling point? If someone currently is selling their home via FSBO, but now after listening to this, they're like, well, maybe I should consider working with a realtor. What's the first step and how can they work with you guys?
Certainly give us a call. I mean, we would love to just come out and chat with you. First, we need to figure out what the problem is. Are you not getting phone calls? Is the price wrong? What kind of feedback are you getting from these people? I think a lot of for sale by owners don't understand that realtors are constantly trying to understand what is going on with the property they have listed or what their buyer currently is looking for. So it's about asking these questions. I know a lot of for sale by owners, when I go into their house and I ask them, I said, how many people have came through? They're like 10. I said, okay, do you have those 10 people's contact information? No, they called me and I lost it. I said, did you ever follow back up with them? No. These are the services that we do day in, day out to make sure you get the results that you're looking for. If you were to look at, 87% of buyers use a realtor. So even selling for sale by owner, and I think in the Quad Cities is probably closer to 90%, there's a good likelihood, regardless if you're selling for sale by owner on the sale side, there's probably going to be a buyer agent or realtor representing the buyer on the buy side. So that's something you certainly need to keep in mind. It's not like you're not going to pay any commissions most of the time. A lot of times there's going to be buyer agents negotiating commissions with sellers. So that's something to keep in mind. But definitely give us a call. We'd love to stop out, ask you some questions, and then at that point give you an idea of what we think would be the best fit for you to get the best results you're looking for.
Well, that's fantastic. It sounds like it's a full-time job to try and sell your home yourself, so it's a great option to have a realtor there to get that conversation started. Kyle, thanks so much for the tips, and we appreciate you being here as always.
Thanks, Brittany. Have a good day.
Yeah, you too. For more information, you can call Kyle and his team at 563-505-1806. We'll have these details posted on ourquadcities.com. More Living Local returns after this break. Stay with us.